Welcome to my workshop. My name is Tomasz and you're watching Casual DIY channel. In today's video I want to tackle a small problem I sometimes get when I'm trying to rip down long pieces of timber, okay? It's quite hard to maneuver them and there's not a lot of support between starting the infeed and the blade itself, so it's sometimes, hard to control the whole board. So today we're going to be making a small infeed table to tackle that problem. Some time ago I made this foldable outfeed table. If you want a link to that, it will be down below in the description of this video so you can check that out. Absolutely super useful thing. And as you've seen, I'm just using my table saw to rip down a 10mm plywood sheet into the correct size. In my case, the infeed table will be about 40 centimeters long and 21 centimeters wide, although we will have to cut a couple of shapes in it to fit our needs. I want the infeed table to be located like this. However, as you can see, that piece of plastic from the fence of the table is in the way. So I'm just going to trace the pattern out and I'm going to cut it out with my bandsaw. However, if you don't have a bandsaw, you can just use a jigsaw with no issues at all. I made the initial cut a little bit oversized, okay, so it fits nicely, it's not rubbing against anything, so that's what I did. Now I'm going to remove that pin just over here. I never use that indicator, so that's coming off for this to work correctly, because I want that to be against the tabletop of the saw itself. Now the plywood sheet is 10mm, however the distance between the tabletop and that shelf here is about 12mm, okay, so we are a little bit short here. However, for me that's not a problem. If you've got 12mm material, use that. I know I'm going to be just placing the board on top, and that lip is not going to be a problem. It's rounded over lip anyway, so that's not going to be an issue. The next thing I want to do is to cut out a little bit on this side, okay, so my hip has got some room on this side. When I'm approaching the table so a bit closer, I'm not actually hitting that hard edge. So again, I'm just going to be cutting out something like this out of this board, so when I approach it I do have that space and I'm not catching myself on the edge over here. And again, using my bandsaw to make the cut. On my bandsaw, I've cut out a piece of plywood. Now, in theory, this should be 18mm in thickness. However, in reality, is 17mm. The length, I think, is about, just under 12 centimeters. So that will fit in perfectly, just like so. So the 17mm thickness of the plywood fits in there perfectly, is just above that ledge just over here, so that's absolutely perfect, because as this sits on top, that's more or less flush. I think it's fraction of a millimeter below the table, so that's pretty darn perfect for a 18mm plywood, would just fit in perfectly. Now the depth of this came out to 18mm. Right, the channel in there, it's not square, it's got a strange shape inside, so don't count on just cutting it straight out. Just try to sneak on the cut itself. It took me a few tries and I got to 18mm in thickness, and that seems to be sitting in there quite fine. So now I'm just going to attach this piece to our infeed table just like that. So first of all, let's put some glue on it, not too much, you don't want to have a massive squeeze out. When it dries for a bit, I'm just going to use some screws, probably 2 or 3 screws, to make sure it will sit in place, okay, just like that. I'm going to use my clamp to hold it in place. Now this glue sets pretty quick, so in 20 minutes I'll take it off and I'm going to add a few screws to it. Now I'm just going to break the edges of our infeed table just to prevent any splinters in the future. Now to attach the infeed table like so, I'm actually going to be using these toggle clamps. I've got a pair of them. I'm going to mount these from underneath and they will go against that aluminium profile just over here, and hopefully they will give enough force to hold this outfeed table in a steady position. So I'm just going to mark the position and I'm going to attach them. Okay, let's have a look how it works. Right, okay, so there's an issue with these. They actually are hitting that angled ledge here. So I need to add another piece of plywood underneath those, raise them up a little bit, and then they will push against that flat edge just over here. I have also upgraded the heads of the toggle clamps to larger ones I had lying about in my workshop. Definitely go for larger toggle clamps. Mine are tiny, hence they're not the best for this situation. Try to get the larger versions of these. But in the end, you know, it actually works just fine. Stable, this is absolutely not going anywhere, and it should give me enough support for the pieces when I'm going to be pushing them through. So let's have a go at it. As you place it just here, clamp it up. Yes, it's not moving anywhere. It's not going to go left to right. Over here, it's stable, it's solid as a rock. However, when you get to the back end, it just springs way too much. And if you've got a long and heavy board, if you just place it with too much of a force at the back, this will probably come off flying, in my opinion. So not the best solution here. It works if you can control your board and just feed it through. For that purpose, it will be fine. However, I'm not happy with the flex at the back. Now, why is the flex? Very simple. There's not enough to grab on. It would probably actually be a lot better if I was able to copy that ledge on this side of the fence, because it's under an angle. So I may try to do that and replace this piece with something. It looks like a V-shaped groove a little bit, but I don't know if it will actually do the job. I think it will still flex. So in a way it works and it doesn't. I'm not too happy with the end result here, guys. So I'm already thinking about a different solution that will still be attachable and detachable from the whole saw somehow. And I already got something in my mind. So if you're not a subscriber and you don't want to miss that, make sure to subscribe to my channel, as that will come very shortly to my channel here, guys. However, if you're interested in other projects that actually are working at 100%, I've got a cool playlist just over here. You can go and click that now, and I'll see you on those videos there. Take care.